صل على محمد وآل محمد. So we are having our fifth session, and inshallah in the Furu' al-Din we've covered Salah, we've covered Sawm, we've covered Hajj, we've covered Zakat, and now we are covering Khums. So Khums is one of the financial obligations upon every Muslim. Can you go to the slide explaining what is Khums? Okay. So Khums literally means 1/5. Khums. Assalamu alaikum. It literally means 1/5. And that is also one of the financial obligations that we have in Islamic law. It refers to an obligatory religious tax. Just like zakat was a religious tax, this one, remember when we were talking about zakat, we said zakat is only paid on certain things. For example, if you have cattle, if you have gold, if you have silver, if you have wheat and grain, and certain type of items that you have. But not everyone has those type of items. So Khums is 1/5 of the surplus. You pay religious tax, which one must pay on several things, the most common of which is the surplus income from earnings and gains. So there are certain things that Khums must be paid upon. For example, the spoils of war, or if you stumble upon a treasure, that Khums is, everyone is in agreement about that. However, there's also any type of earning or gain, any surplus that you have at the end of the year over earnings and gains. So at the end, you see how much the surplus is, and then you take out 1/5 of it, and that is 20%. That is a religious tax. That is a religious obligation that must be paid by every Muslim. Any person who's baligh, any person who comprehends, any person who has ownership, this person, it becomes wajib upon them to pay Khums. And Khums is also one of the Furu' al-Din. So we were talking about the Furu' al-Din, the Salah, the Sawm, the Zakat, the Hajj, the Khums, the Amr bil Ma'ruf, the Nahi anil Munkar, Tawalli, Tabarri, and Jihad. These are the 10 Furu' al-Din, 10 obligations. From amongst the obligations that is wajib upon every Muslim is to give that Khums, that 1/5, that 20% over the surplus. It's not given over 1/5 of everything that you own. It's only 1/5 for the surplus that you have. And this is one of the obligations that has been prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about this in the Quran in Surah Al-Anfal, verse 41. And this was something that was practiced during the life of Rasulullah and during the life of the Imams. And it's an act of worship. When it's an act of worship, what do you have to do when you're doing ibadah? Niyyah. What does niyyah mean? Intention. That means you are, right now when you guys pay how many of you pay taxes? I know you pay sales tax, right? You're probably too young to be paying actual taxes, income tax or whatever that is. When you pay your income tax or you pay your property tax, do you make a niyyah, qurbatan ila al-government? You try to seek nearness to the president or Congress? No. You say, why are they making me pay? And you probably curse at them, and then you send the check because you have to. But when we are giving our zakat, when we are giving our khums, when we're giving our charity, we do it, we say, I'm seeking nearness to Allah. No one's forcing me to give. No one's coming and telling me you're going to get kicked out of your house if you don't give. We're going to take away your property. No, here they do this. In this country, they do this. If you don't pay your taxes, they'll come and they'll seize your property. But by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is not going to take your property. Allah is not going to take it from you. But you are doing it seeking nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're seeking closeness. You want God to be satisfied. That's what makes ibadah different from everything else. You say, I want to get closer to Allah. I want Allah to be pleased with me. by doing this. So this is why we do it. Can we go to the next slide? And this is Surah Al-Anfal, verse 41. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمُسَهُ وَلِلرَّسُولِ وَلِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ. So Allah says in the Quran, and know that whatever spoils you take, وَاعْلَمَا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ. Here, there's a difference in opinion. Sunni Muslims, today they'll come and they'll tell you, we pay zakat. And remember, we talked about zakat last week. We said zakat is paid on 9 things. You have the gold and the silver, the coins, not jewelry. And then you have the cattle, the sheep and the cows and the camel. And then you have raisins and wheat and barley and grain. These type of things, if you have, you pay zakat on. We, in the Shia school of thought, we don't pay zakat on money. While the Sunni school of thought, they pay 2% on cash. So we say, no, the order of zakat has come down upon these 9 things only. You can't come and pay, you don't need to pay zakat on the cash that you have, anything other than these 9 things. In the Sunni school of thought, they come and they say, even if you have cash at the end of the year, you pay 2% zakat. We say, no, you don't pay on cash. You only pay on those 9 things. However, if you have cash, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ, the rule of Khums applies to it. Because the Quran says, and know that whatever spoils you take in. But ghanima, in the Arabic language, when they talk about after a battle, after a war, if there are any spoils of war, they refer to that as ghanimat al-harb, the spoils of war. Now, this tafsir, this English translation, it's only referring, it's giving you the Sunni version, basically. It's only talking about spoils of war. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't say that it's only about spoils of war. Allah says, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم min shay'in, any type of ghanima, any type of spoils. So it doesn't necessarily need to be from war, because when someone tells you spoils, usually our mind goes to spoils of war. But this is وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ, any type of surplus that you make. It's not only in the case of war. So this is why we say Khums applies to any type of surplus that I make. I work, I made money, at the end of the year I have surplus, Khums applies to it. I have gifts, whatever it is, Khums applies to it. There are certain things that are exceptions, but here the verse is very clear. وَاعْلَمُوا, and know, أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ, any type of spoil, any type of gain that you have, فَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمُسَهُ, the 1/5 goes to God, وَلِلرَّسُولِ, and the Prophet, وَالْقُرْبَى, and the family of the Prophet, وَالْيَتَامَى, and the orphans, وَالْمَسَاكِينَ, and the poor, وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, and those, Ibn السَّبِيل, who are the person who lost their money while they're traveling, إِن كُنْتُمْ آمَنْتُمْ بِاللَّهِ. So this is a very important verse that talks about Khums. Let's go to the next slide. So what things are liable for Khums? When does a person have to pay Khums? So whenever there is a surplus, what does that mean? It means that I spend on my food, I spend on my living, I eat, I drink, I sleep, I have a house, I take care of my family, I live a comfortable life. Okay? Then whatever is extra, Allah does not want you to take from your whole income. Like here, the government, they come and they tell you, how much do you make a year? Okay, then you have to come and give. Even if you had nothing in your bank account, they'll come and they'll tell you have to give. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no. You spend, you live, you enjoy life, you live a comfortable life. Whatever you have left at the end, this is the surplus. It's a gain, it's an earning on what? On salaries and wages, earning from businesses, earning from investments. A lot of people ask, they say, I have stocks, I have Bitcoin, I have whatever you have. If you have any type of surplus, any type of gain, then Khums must be paid on it. 1/5 of that must be paid. any gifts, any prizes and bonuses, welfare, any expected income or something that was not expected. Sadaqah, maybe someone gave you sadaqah that you had, and now I became rich as well. Here, based on obligatory precaution. So maybe some people say, no, this person is poor, he doesn't need. But they say that if you have extra at the end of the year, then that would also be included in it. Inheritance from an unexpected source. Unexpected, meaning something غير متوقع. Something that you have a far cousin that suddenly they found out that there's no relative and suddenly it came to you. Khums is applied. This is also based on obligatory precaution. So what are the exemptions? Go to the next slide, please. The exemptions, so not all gains. You know, in Islam, we have, whenever there is a marriage, the husband has to give mahar, has to give a dowry to the wife. So the mahar is an exemption. So if a husband gave his wife, for example, $1,000, $10,000, whatever he gave her, for the mahar, that she does not need to pay khums on it. Let it sit in the bank for 10 years. Any other money, if it sits in the bank for 1 year, or you have ownership of it for 1 year, after 1 year you have to pay khums on it. But mahar, this one, there's no khums on it. Inheritance. So if you have inheritance, we mentioned unexpected inheritance. But if you have inheritance from your father, from your mother, from parents, a wife from a husband from wife, from children, this is expected. You know that this is coming to you. So in this case, there is no khums on irth, no khums on inheritance. And this is something that, unless you know for sure that the deceased never gave khums, unless you know that this person never paid khums, then you would have to give on it. But if there's a chance, or you don't know that he didn't give khums, this person, I don't know whether they gave khums or not, I don't have knowledge that this person has never given khums, then I don't need to pay khums on it. The diya, the blood money. So in Islam we have diya. For example, if someone accidentally did something where you lost your arm, where you lost an eye, or a loved one, some relative passed away, they have to give diya. They have to give blood money for the arm, for the eye, for anything. This is called diya. So if someone was given diya, khums does not apply to the diya. And then also, and we will go into detail on this, if you have financial loans, so say I have a house or I have a car, and my loan, the money that I have borrowed, is greater than my surplus. So say at the end of the year, I have $10,000. After I spent, I paid the bills and everything, I have $10,000 in my bank account. But I have a mortgage, or I have to pay back someone. I have a mortgage of $100,000. Here, I don't pay khums. But it's not that I don't pay khums at all. I deduct that 10,000 from the 100,000. So say I owed the bank $100,000, or I owe someone $100,000, and at the end of the year I have 10,000 in surplus. I did not pay back the bank, or I did not pay back that person the 100,000, but now I deducted that 10,000 from the 100. So now how much do I owe? 90. Even though that person, I might still owe him 100, but I deducted that 10. So say I do this for 10 years. I do this for 10 years. Every year I take out $10,000 surplus and I deduct it. That 90 becomes 80, becomes 70, it becomes 60, until it becomes 0. And even if I have not paid back that person a single dollar for 10 years, I don't have to pay khums. But the moment, now I already deducted that, now I can't, even if I haven't paid him back, I would still have to start paying khums because I already deducted that. Is it clear? Yes, sister. Yes, you keep minusing, then you start paying khums. Then you start paying khums. But say, for example, here the issue is sometimes someone, you have a 30-year loan. My 30-year loan, I have to pay $200,000, $100,000 on the house. I don't want to pay it all at once. I pay it slowly. So what I do is I take the khums surplus and I keep subtracting it. So even if I have a 30-year loan, I might pay off that debt because my surplus might become more than what I owe within 5 years. After 5 years, I have to start paying khums. So you just keep deducting and you need to write it down. These are the rules. Can we go to the next slide, please? So are savings and loans liable for khums? So a lot of people, they ask me this question. They tell me I have in my checking account and I have in my savings account. In my checking account, I pay the khums on. But in my savings account, do I have to pay khums on? The answer is yes. So to simplify things, at the end of the year or the date that you have chosen, what a person should do is get their checkings and savings and stocks and everything that they have that is extra. So the house that I live in, I don't take the value of my house because I'm living. The car that I drive, I don't take the value of that. But say, for example, I have money sitting in the bank. I have stocks, investment, or I have investment property. I come and I take all of that value, all of that, how much is it worth in cash, and I put it in one hand. And then I come and I count the khums on it. So all savings for future years are liable for khums. So maybe I'm trying to buy a house and I say I'm going to buy a house in 5 years. I keep collecting money. Do I have to pay khums on it? Yes. Once the year comes, khums is due. Once khums has been paid on an amount that has been put aside for use in future years, that amount is not liable for khums again. Only increases to it will be liable. So do I say, for example, at the end of the year, or the date that I've chosen, I have $10,000. I took out the khums. How much is the khums of $10,000? $2,000, 20%. 20%. So how much do I have left? No, $8,000. $8,000. So now that $8,000, since I paid khums on it, I will not have to pay khums on it again. So the next year, I go and I look at that same date. That year, I have $8,000 in my bank account. Do I have to pay khums? No, because last year my clean money, basically last year I had 10,000. I took out 2,000. Now I have 8,000. This 8,000, this is considered mukhammas, meaning I've already purified that money. I took out the 20% of it. Now that money is pure. So now this 8,000, I don't pay khums on it. Say I had $9,000. So what do I pay khums on? Only the 1,000. Anything above the 8,000. And then when you take the 1,000, what's the khums of 1,000? 200. So that year you put $200 in the khums. $800 becomes pure money. You add it to the 8,800. So if a person pays khums, every year that number goes up and they won't have to pay every year. Maybe for some people the first time they pay, some people they've never paid khums in their life, then they see, oh, I have $10,000 in my bank account. I have $20,000. You have to give for all of it. But the next year, since you already gave, the next year you're going to give less. You only give whatever extra you made above the mukhammas, above the pure money. Yes, Taha. Then you don't pay khums. Yes. The year after that, you start all over. You start all over. If you have above the 8,000, so that's the money that, if that's the same money that you have in your bank account. Say I have that money in my bank account, then I just pay anything above that. Yes. 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 So you write down how much you have, and then whatever how much you've paid khums, then anything above that you would pay the khums on. Yes. Um, so once khums has been paid on an amount that has been put aside for use in future years, that amount is not liable for khums again. Only increases to it will be liable. As for loans, these can be deducted from one's surplus income if the loan is taken to pay for a deductible expense that year. So, what's a deductible expense? Yes, sister. Yes. Only for the 25. If you had $8,001, you only pay khums for the $1. Basically, you just have to see what is extra. And now it's very easy. You write down in your phone, or you put it down. You say, for example, this is, and every person needs to have a khums date, either on the Gregorian calendar or on the Islamic calendar. It doesn't matter. But you pick one date, your birthday, Laylatul Qadr. Some people, Laylatul Qadr, because it's the night where the deeds are multiplied. Any day that you want. Any day that you want. But typically, it should be the day that you first received income. So say I got a job and they gave me money October 1st. That's my first day that I received my check. That should be the day that I calculate to give my khumsan. Yes, Jawad. Only on the earnings. So yes, that 8,000 was mukhammas money. I put it in investments. I only pay, if it became 9,000, I only pay on the 1,000. The 8,000 is mukhammas. I've already given khums on it. I only give on what's extra. Okay? Yes. So, as for loans, these can be deducted from one's surplus income if the loan is taken to pay for a deductible expense that year. Deductible expense means to pay for my house, to pay for my car, to pay for something that I could use. I'm not getting it for another investment. I'm getting it for something that I am using. Like a car, you drive your car. A house that you live in, you could deduct that. The loan is taken to cover expenses for running a business, as long as there's no assets or cash available to cover those businesses, those expenses. So say, for example, I have a business. I need my business to operate. I had to take a loan. So that loan, because it's necessary, it's deductible. But if it's for, I had money, I didn't use my money, but I went and I took a loan. I can't come and say, oh, I have a loan, I don't need to pay khums now, because I already had money. But if I didn't have money and I have to support my business because my business keeps me alive, therefore it keeps me going and keeps my business going, therefore this is a necessary expense. Okay? Expenses for running a business include renting of a premise to be used as an office, shop, storage, staff salaries, taxes, utility bills, insurance, hiring or purchasing tools. So all of these expenses, you could deduct them from your khums. Can we go to the next slide? Anyone have any questions for what has been mentioned so far? Okay. So when does a person pay khums? First of all, a person has to be baligh. So a child, just like we talked about all of the furu' ad-din, a person has to be baligh, a person has to go through the age of puberty, understanding, and have ownership. Doesn't matter how much you own. Say I own $1 or I own $1 million. Khums has to be paid. Each one takes out 1/5. The one that has $1 takes out 20 cents. The one that has $1 million takes out 200,000. Each one has to give their share. And this is the beauty of Islam, that every person needs to contribute. Every person needs to give back. Even if I don't have. Now, yes, if a person is faqir, if a person is poor, then they use the money for themselves. But if you have surplus at the end of the year, then that means you're not poor. A poor person is someone that does not have surplus at the end of the year. But if you do have surplus at the end of the year, then that would mean you are not poor. So khums is not payable immediately. So say, for example, I received my check, I started working and I received my check. Do I have to pay khums as soon as I get it? No. Because a lot of people, they get their check, but then they say, okay, now I have to go and pay this bill, I have to pay this bill, I have to spend here, spend there. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, He tells me, go and spend. You have a whole year. Go and spend, enjoy your money, do whatever you can. Then you see what you have left. Because right now, say I received $1,000, but I have to pay my rent, I have to pay my expenses. If I had to take out 20% now, like what they do in America, here, if you receive a salary, say your salary is $100,000, before you get your money in the bank, what happens? Who takes a share? Uncle Sam takes a share. And the money is taken out. You don't even get to see it. They come and they take it. Allah says no. Allah says, go and spend your money. You have a whole year. Spend on anything necessary, anything, any deduction you could use. Then after 1 year, rather, you have a choice of either paying khums when you receive an income or postponing it. So you have two options. Some people, they say, no. You know what? I don't want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hold me accountable on the day of judgment. As soon as they give me money, I take out 20% and I give it khums. This is an option. But you'll be paying more. So if someone wants to do that, they could do that. You get your money, you take out the 20% and you put it aside. And those people who do that, their faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very strong. Because at the end of the day, where does our income come from? Where does our money come from? Who gives us? Allah, right? It's Allah who gives us. So you think God, if I'm giving back to Allah, Allah is going to keep me hungry? Of course not. But this is one of the ways that we have to strengthen our iman and faith. But Allah says, no, sometimes you might need the money. So you could either pay it right away, or you pick a date, and that date you give khums on it. The next year, postpone it until the end of the khums year, having deducted all allowable expenses for that year for your income. So you deduct your bills, you deduct your expenses, your loan that is deductible, and whatever you have to take out, you take out, and then you see the surplus. So say, for example, I have $20,000 in surplus, but then when I come and I calculate my loan, I calculate my expenses, I calculate I have to give this person, I have to give that person, I have only $1,000 left. So Allah wants me to spend on whatever is necessary, then give khums on whatever is the surplus. You would then pay khums on the remaining amount on your surplus income. The date of your khums payments can be based on either the Islamic or the Gregorian calendar. So you could pick an Islamic date, the 1st of Muharram, the 1st of Ramadan, Laylatul Qadr, or you could say on my birthday, January 1st, whatever, pick a date, and then you write down that date and you give khums on that date. Okay? So now go to the next slide, please. Okay. So this is kind of a slide, an image to show a person how to calculate the khums. So there are 4 steps. Step 1, at the end of your khums year, see what your surplus income is. Go and calculate all your money. Some people, they come, they have a bank account here, stocks here, a bank here, whatever, property here, investments here. You go and you see all the surplus and you put it all in one basket. Don't, even if you have it divided in different bank accounts. One person came and he told me, I have a savings and I have a checkings and I have Bitcoin and I have this. And he tried to take out the khums for each one. Told him, this is very confusing. Go and get all of your money, your assets. How much is it worth? Put it all in one, calculate it all together, and then take out the khums from it. So scholars, they say, anything extra. How many of us have clothes that are hanging in our closet for over 1 year and we have not worn them? Okay, I see several hands. Actually, I see everyone's hands. So what does that mean? That means that that item, if I did not buy it with mukhammas money, or that item now it has become extra. I bought it or it came to me as a gift and I never wore it. Or I used to wear it, then I stopped wearing it for over a year. Now, khums applies on it. Khums applies on it because it has value, right? It has value. Whatever value. Maybe when I bought it, it was $40. Now it's worth $5. You take the market value today. Who knows what the market value is? You estimate. If you were to sell it right now, how much would the shirt be worth? Probably not much. Maybe it is worth a lot. Some people, they have collector's items. You know, I know one person, he told me I have about 50 new shoes. Whatever Nike, Adidas, whatever comes out, they go and they buy it and he wears it once or he doesn't wear it and he keeps it. He says the value of it goes up. Some people, they have cards. Anything that has value, if the value goes up or down, you go and you look at the value of that thing and you add it to the value of what your surplus income is. Yes, Taha. Only on the 2,000. You only pay on the 2,000 because you've already paid on the 8,000. The 8,000 is pure money, mukhammas money. The next 2,000 that you got are not mukhammas money. It's new money. So then you pay khums on it, and then whatever is left, the 4/5, you add it in the mukhammas bracket. Yes, sister. You're allowed to give it away. Yes. But you don't need to give it away. You only take the value of it, one fifth of it, and then it becomes yours. Then you could keep it in your closet hanging for another 10 years, whatever you want. So some women, they have their bride's dress. You know, they don't want to get rid of it. They keep it, thinking that they're going to fit in it later on. So, no offense. We don't have anyone that suffers from that. So here, they keep it hanging. And they think this is going to fit them, or they're going to wear it one day on their 10-year anniversary or something like that. Then you have to go and see how much that's worth, and you have to give the khums on it. So you take everything that you own. You know, I remember scholars, they even say, for example, someone might have a cologne or perfume. And how much did you use it the whole year? I go through cologne in 2 months. Some people, they go through cologne in 2 years. So if whatever is left in that, how much is it worth? If you were right now to go and sell half a jar, a container of, for example, the best type of cologne out there, you go and you see how much is it worth. Okay, that has value, right? It has value. It's not zero. Whatever value it has, you add it to the money that khums needs to pay on. So what I usually do, it gets overwhelming. So what you do is you look at your cash, you look at what do you have, and then you could kind of estimate. Go and look at my closet. Okay, how many outfits do I have that I have not worn? How much are those worth? Okay, I don't know. Maybe $50, maybe $100. Okay, let me just add in $100 too. You pay $120. The khums of $100 is just $20. So I say, okay, and I'm going to look at my colognes and whatever I have that has value. How much if I were to sell this out, how much would I sell it? Even if I add $500, that's only $100. But then everything becomes mukhammas. So you come and you estimate. You estimate, and whenever you're estimating, say, maybe it will be $100 or maybe it will be $200. That's where I'm in between those. Which number do I choose? The lesser. The lesser, because that's what I'm certain about. I'm not certain about the 200, but I'm certain it would be $100. So therefore I say, okay, I'll say $100. So that's step number one. What's step number two? Okay, add the resale value of any unused item. We already mentioned that. So how much would those... So first you take your income and then you take unused items. Now you minus the amount, if any, left over after you paid khums last year. So last year, so now I collected everything that I have. I saw that I have 10,000. I took the money, the stocks, the clothing, the little pieces of whatever I have left, and I saw that it's all 10,000. But last year, when I paid, I also had 10,000 last year. But then when I took out the khums, I took out 2,000. 8,000 of it is mukhammas. So now I say, what's the difference between last year? Last year 8,000 was pure. This year I have 10,000. So that means I only pay on what? 2,000. I only pay khums on the 2,000. So you basically divide whatever that number is, that surplus, you divide it by 5, and you get your khums. Yes, sister. So you guess, if you were to sell it on eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, how much would it be sold for? You say, okay, maybe it will be sold for $10, or the maximum is $20. Which one do you pick? No, you pick the 10. You pick the lower. You pointed down, but you said the higher number. So you pick the lower number, whatever you're certain about. Because you're not certain it would be 20, but you are certain it would be 10. Yes. Yes. You could technically do that, but it has to be actually wearing it. Not like, okay, let me just wear it 1 second and then, no, it should be counted as I wore it once. And you see a lot of people, because I don't want khums to be on it, I just go and I wore it one time. One time, like half an hour sitting out with the family, something like that, where it's considered an actual wear. Yes. Next slide, please. Okay, so now, khums, I need to give, when I take out that 1/5, what do I do with that 1/5? That 1/5, that 20%, I could either go and give it to a scholar that I trust, a reliable scholar, and they'll know what to do with it. And I tell the scholar, you give it to the marja', or you give it to the wakil of the marja', and they will know what to do with it. You tell them, this is my whole khums money. But the khums, it's divided into 2 shares. There's one saham, one share is the share of the imam, and there's another share that is the share of the sayyids, Bani Hashim. Now I'll explain to you. In a hadith from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, in the tafsir of the verse that we read, Al-Anfal, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمُسَهُ. The khumus, the 1/5, one share goes to God, وَلِلرَّسُولِ, and the Prophet, وَلِذِي الْقُرْبَى, and the family, وَالْيَتَامَى, and the orphans, وَالْمَسَاكِينَ, and the poor, وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, and the one who is lost, they've lost their money. So basically it's 6 shares. According to the Quran, khums is divided into 6 shares. Guys, can you listen? It's divided into 6 shares. So the Imam alayhi salam, Imam al-Sadiq, he says, إِنَّ خُمْسُ اللَّهِ لِلرَّسُولِ. The khums of God, who does God take money from me? No. Who do I give the khums to during the time of the Prophet? God's share. I give it to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa. After the Prophet, and then he says, وَخُمْسِ الرَّسُولِ, the khums of God and the Prophet goes to who? Who's the representative of Rasulullah during the time of the Imam? The Imam. Imam Ali, Imam al-Hasan, Imam al-Hussein. Right now, Imam al-Mahdi. Okay? وخمس ذي القربى لقرابة رسول الله، لقرابة الرسول الإمام عليه السلام، واليتامى هم يتامى الرسول. So basically, والمساكين منهم أبناء السبيل منهم فلا يخرج منهم إلى غيرهم. So basically, Imam Sadiq is saying the khums is divided into 6 parts, right? فإن لله خمسه وللرسول ولذي القربى. The share of God and the share of the Prophet and the share of the family of the Prophet, this is considered Sahm al-Imam. This goes to the Imam. So I need to give it to Imam al-Mahdi. Okay? Then, فإن لله خمسه وللرسول ولذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل. واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل. And the orphans and the poor and the one who has lost their money. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says this is not any orphan, not any poor person, not any person that's lost their money. This goes to the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa, meaning the Sayyid share. So this is why, to kind of simplify it, to break it down, There's one share that is for God, that is given to the Prophet. Since the Prophet is not here, it's given to the Imam. That's called the share of the Imam, Sahm al-Imam. And then there's another share that is given to the orphans and given to the poor and given to Ibn Sabil. But because of the hadith of Imam Sadiq, he says that needs to be given to the family of the Prophet. That means this is given to Bani Hashim. It's given to the Sayyids. So now when I take out 20%, say I had $1,000 of surplus. How much did I take out? 200. Okay, 200. 800 is mukhammas, it's pure. I leave it. I took out 200. That's my khums. But the khums is divided in half. Half of it is sahm al-imam, the share that goes to the imam. And the other half is sahm al-sada, the share that goes to the sayyid. So the share of the imam, who do I give it to right now? Do we see the imam? So who does it need to go to? It goes to the representative of the imam, the maraja, the scholars, the ulama. They know how to spend it. And in our area, in our era, the imams and the maraja, what do? They give permission to mosques, to places of worship, to places that advance the cause of Islam, places that advance the cause of Imam al-Mahdi, places that will make the imam happy with us. They come and they give sahm al-imam and that over there. Sahm al-sada, just because I'm a sayyid, do I qualify to receive the sahm al-sada? No. It goes to the ones who are in need of the sayyid. So say for example, I'm a sayyid, but I'm not in need. I'm living a comfortable life. I'm comfortable. I don't have a problem. I need to give my sahm al-sada to the sayyid that's in need. The sayyid that is barely making it. Now yes, say for example, I'm a sayyid, but I do have need. I have a big family. I have, needs here and there, and I need to spend, and I'm not covering my expenses. Then I could take from sahm al-sada. But if I have enough, then I cannot come and use that share. So this is why it needs to be given to the sayyid that's in need. So basically, what a person could do is, someone might come and ask me, wait, that's not fair. Why do I have to come and give it to the sayyids? Are the sayyids special? I mean, yeah, we are special. I'm just kidding. No, in the eyes of Allah, we're all equal. But yes, there is only in terms of the khums. Why is that? Because remember we talked about zakat last week? Can a sayyid take zakat? No. A sayyid does not take zakat. So remember we talked about the zakat? The sayyid does not take zakat. Because the sayyid does not take zakat, the sayyid takes from the khums. And this is some type of rule that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made. So there's the share of the imam and the share of the sayyid. So the share of the imam, if you have khums, you either give it to the marja, you give the whole thing to the marja will give the sayyid their share and the sahm al-imam their share. Or if you know a sayyid, you don't need to go and give it to the marja. You could go and give it to the sayyid yourself. As long as that sayyid is in need, as long as that sayyid is basically their status of living is not above average, they're living an average life or below that, then you could give them. Yes? So here, like for example, this center, yes, it accepts sahm al-imam from the share of the imam. Because this is the type of money, if Imam al-Mahdi was here, would he want to advocate for a cause like this? Inshallah, yes. As long as you see a center, you see an organization, they're not doing anything haram, they're promoting the cause of Islam, this is what maraja' give to. But for sahm al-sada, I can't put sahm al-sada on this center. This needs to go to sayyids in need. So that's personal. So people, for example, they come and they give me the khums, I take the sahm al-imam and I put it here, and sahm al-sada, we give it to sayyids who are in need. You find sayyids who are in need, you distribute it to those who are in need. Yes. So it's divided into two shares. Okay, can you go to the next slide? Okay. So Someone might come and ask, what's the impact of Khums? The impact of Khums is huge. It builds organizations that promote the cause of Islam. Islamic seminaries, right now in Qom, in Najaf, the houses. How do you think the houses keep the students going and they give them, when people go to the houza, they don't pay tuition. They get paid to go to the houza. Basically, they get paid something very basic that supports them, supports their basic life. They have to be living a basic life. If you're living a very extravagant life, then no, they won't give you. But it builds Islamic seminaries, mosques, schools. Maybe, for example, there's a school, you have a school that would educate people about Arabic, about Quran, about the laws of Islam. So this is something that Khums money would go. It supports any need that the Imam deems important. So if the Imam were to see something to be important, the Imam gives from Sahm al-Imam. One thing very important, and this is the last point I have, it gives Shia scholars financial independence to not be controlled by governments. See, right now in the Sunni world, the Khatib al-Jum'ah, the Imam that leads the Jum'ah prayer, they take their sermon, it needs to be signed and be okayed by who? By the government, by the king. They tell him, you talk like this and you don't talk like this. This is why today you have, why are many Muslims, why are they quiet about Gaza? Why are they quiet about the oppression? Why are they quiet about what's going on? Because their rulers, their kings do not allow them to speak. They tell them, we're giving you your salary. You be quiet. You have no. You tell people what we tell you to say. And this is since the time of Bani Umayyah. They came and they tried to control the clergy and control the imams and control the scholars. Basically, we're giving you your salary. You say what we tell you to say. Khums, what it has done is it has given the scholars, the maraja, financial independence. When you give your khums, you're not giving it to the government. You're giving your khums to the scholar. You're giving it to the organizations. And the marja, the scholar, he feels that he does not need the king. He does not need the amir. He does not need the president to come and receive his salary. They can't come and tell him, okay, we're going to cut your salary. Because he has independence. So therefore, you've seen throughout history, the scholars of the Shia, they always speak out against oppression. They have that bravery. They have that strength. And this is one of the reasons is because of the khums. The khums, it gives financial independence to our scholars. So this is the end of the slide that I have done. And we will continue inshallah with another session, but just to answer some of the questions, ما الفرق بين الفستان الذي يلبس مرة ولو ساعة فيسقط الخمس عنه وثوب العرس الذي because he says, what's the difference between a dress that is worn for an hour or the wedding dress that you wear and your remains? We're talking about you wear it during that year. So you wore a wedding dress on your wedding year, that applies. Then you go to the next year. Now, for example, say my wedding was January 1st. I wore it January 1st. Now, that year, I don't have to pay khums on it because I wore it. But next year, when the khums date comes, I have to wear it again. So that khums would not apply on it. But if I don't wear it again, then khums would apply. Yes.
So for like stocks, do I need to pay the khums after I resell the stock? Like once I'm done?
No. So if you have stocks, the day of the khums, stocks are due on it. You just need to get some liquidate some of your money, or you use the money that you have in the bank account. How much are my stocks worth? My stocks are worth $100. I come and I take out, or the khums on it is $100. I take out $100 and I give it. Then that's something that's due on you. Some people, they sell some stocks so that they could pay their khums.
Yeah, but like, let's say you have some other stocks. Like you have like a really expensive dress, like you said, like club collector's item.
Well, you either sell it right now, or that's something that's due on you. That's a debt. So you write it down that this is how much I need to give. Yes, sister. If you gave it to them, then that's a use. Yeah. So it is being used now. Yeah, it is being used. Yes. Gold and jewelry, yes. Yes. If you don't wear it, if you don't wear it, if you do wear it at least for an hour or so, then you don't have to pay khums on it. Yes, unless it was given to you as a mahar, it was given to you as a dowry, or it came as an inheritance, then it does not apply. But if you bought it with your own money, then yes, khums would be due on it. Okay, the brother also asked to repeat the khums for someone who has a mortgage on the house. So basically, what you're supposed to do is calculate all of the surplus that you have. Look at your stocks, look at everything that you have, collect everything and put it in one bracket. Write down that number. And then you go and you look at all of the loans that you have. What the loan of the house that you're using, we're not talking about loan of an investment property. That one, you still have to pay khums on it. But the loan of a house that I'm using or car that I'm using, this one, it deducts from the khums. So say I owe $100,000, and this year, what I needed to pay was also $100,000. So they cancel each other out. But the next year, because I already used that $100,000, I canceled it out. The next year I would have to pay, even if I didn't pay off my loan. So basically, you keep counting how much you owe versus how much is your surplus. And if your surplus, if what you owe is more than the surplus, you don't pay khums until your surplus becomes more than that which you owe. That's it. It's as simple as that. Yes. If you feel like I did not answer properly, you could unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay. Yes. Exactly. 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 Yes. Mm. You got the idea, yes. So basically, you consider that you've paid it towards your loan. So the next year, you just deduct it from that loan. So even if you did not pay a single dollar towards that loan, but since you deducted from the khums of it, you can't use that no double dipping basically. You can't use it twice. You've deducted it once, and you could deduct it from it once. That's it. Whether you've paid your loan or you haven't, you've already deducted that amount, so you minus from the share of the khums. Yes, you got the idea. Yes. So you basically consider that you've paid You consider yourself as if you've paid khums. Yes. So you basically just put the same, like this year, khums would not apply to you because you did not make more than what you made last year. For example, you said last year you had paid, this year you said anything above $8,000 I'll pay khums on. This year now your number is below $8,000, so you don't pay khums that year. Yes. Ahsantum. Yes. Ali. Can you pay for that loan? So it depends. For example, yeah, you could, as long as you're not doing it twice for the same money. For example, the loan is $10,000. I deduct 2,000 here. Now it's at $8,000. Then I could deduct from it until the loan goes below what I have. Yes. Okay. So does anyone have any questions? Okay. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين.